For more than a decade, the Tesseract has been a crucial force behind the actions and motivations of many of the Marvel Cinematic Universe's major players. Let's take a look at some of the lesser-known or little-remembered facts about the origins, powers, and timeline of the story thread which has bound the Marvel movies together. The Tesseract traces its origins as far back as time itself. In the MCU, the Big Bang brought about 6 primal elemental singularities: time, reality, soul, mind, power, and space.
1 down. 5 to go.
The essence of the universe itself was forged by mysterious cosmic beings into the Infinity Stones. The Space Stone came into the possession of several ancient civilizations, including the Celestials. At some point, its power was harnessed by a crystalline cube casing, the Tesseract. The origin of the cube has yet to be revealed, but its purpose was to tame the raw power of the Space Stone, making it more easily controllable. At some point, Odin, the ruler of Asgard, came into possession of the Tesseract and housed it in his own vault, as the crown jewel of his collection of some of the most powerful cosmic weapons and artifacts in the universe. Odin captured and stored in his heavily guarded vault any weapon or relic he thought could possibly bring about end times, also known as Ragnarok, and the Tesseract definitely fit that bill. In the first Avenger, Captain America fights the Hydra super soldier Red Skull aboard the airship Valkyrie during the film's climactic battle. As the Valkyrie speeds towards New York City armed with nuclear warheads, the Red Skull attempts to turn the tables on Cap by barehanding the Tesseract, but it doesn't exactly go well for him. A portal opens, blasting Red Skull out of the ship and carrying him off to parts unknown, while the Tesseract burns through the hull of the Valkyrie and descends into the depths of the ocean. Poor Steve Rogers isn't far behind, as the entire airship plunges into the icy water, where Captain America would remain frozen for the next 70 years.
Is there anything you can tell us about the Tesseract that we ought to know now?
You should have left it in the ocean.
It was nearly a decade before Red Skull appeared in another MCU movie. In his Infinity War cameo, the character is portrayed by Ross Marquand of The Walking Dead fame, replacing the first Avengers' Hugo Weaving. During the film, it's revealed that the Space Stone transported Red Skull to Vormir and somehow imprisoned him there. The Red Skull explains that his quest to control an Infinity Stone led it to reject him. He's now intrinsically linked to the Soul Stone as its guardian, but is never able to possess it. Sometime after Cap's fateful battle with the Red Skull, a deep-sea expedition led by Howard Stark uncovered the Tesseract in the cold waters of the Arctic Ocean, while searching for the body of Steve Rogers. The brilliant inventor had been instrumental in creating the scientific process that transformed Rogers from a scrawny weakling into a super soldier. While in possession of the Tesseract, Stark researched and studied its nature. The Tesseract's official first on-screen appearance comes in a stinger following 2011's Thor, but the MCU's first Tesseract reference is actually in Iron Man 2, during a scene in which Howard's son Tony is flipping through his father's notebook. The audience is able to catch a glimpse of a drawing of the Tesseract. Project Pegasus was formed in the 1980s as a joint operation between the United States Air Force and NASA, once the Tesseract came into possession of the US government. The project had been mentioned in other MCU films, but Captain Marvel was the first to shed more light on the top-secret undertaking. Mar-vell, a Kree scientist posing as human Dr. Wendy Lawson on Earth, is able to obtain access to the Tesseract and attempts to harness its power to produce a light-speed engine. When a test fighter flown by Carol Danvers and Lawson is shot down by Kree Star Force, Danvers destroys a powerful engine and in the process absorbs the cosmic power of the Space Stone. In Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers gains full control of her powers and memories in 1995, 6 years after her crash and subsequent abduction by the Kree. She's then able to thwart her pursuers and uncover the Tesseract in the hidden space station in Earth's near orbit. Once recovered, the Tesseract is kept safe by Mar-vell's beloved pet cat, Goose. Of course, Goose is actually a cat-shaped Flerken, who stores the artifact in a pocket dimension in her stomach. Flerkens just so happen to resemble earthly felines in many ways, except for the many toothy tentacles they can release from their mouth. The tentacles enable the deceptively deadly Flerken to devour large prey or objects to teleport or store in stomach-lining pocket dimensions. Later, Goose hawks up the Tesseract onto Nick Fury's desk, and Project Pegasus is revived to further study the object. It is soon relocated to a shield facility in the Mojave Desert to unlock its full capabilities. The The Tesseract has appeared in at least 10 Marvel Cinematic Universe films. That's the same number as Iron Man, and one more than everybody's favorite Boy Scout, Captain America. Following the wild success of Joss Whedon's The Avengers, Marvel began to plot its storytelling much more carefully than it had before. With this re-collaboration, Marvel decided to make the Infinity Stones the central story elements of Phases 1 through 3. As a result, the Tesseract was retconned to contain the Space Stone. This pivot towards the Infinity Stones as a binding agent of the MCU will go down in Hollywood history as one of the greatest production moves of all time. And with a storyline more than 10 years in the making finally coming to a close with Endgame, it may indeed prove to be the end of an era. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite MCU movies are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.